It's time for the Daily Stand Up Podcast presented by Agile Dad with your host, Lee Henson. Without any further ado, let's get started. Shh. Listen. How many times have you wanted to just tell people to be completely silent? I know for me, there's definitely power in silence. And I teach people this all the time. Whether you're being silent just so you could hear someone else's opinion, whether you're being silent so that you can be a sponge and absorb information, whether you're being silent so that you can take that deep breath and calm down before you respond or react emotionally to something. Silence is making room for your brain to process. Now, truth be told, silence is awkward. It is. It's almost overly awkward. Now, I've leveraged that awkward silence, especially when accepting opportunities for new jobs. I found myself saying, when someone extended an offer, I found myself saying, oh, only that. I wouldn't say only that much of it. Oh, and I'd say the number. And then they would often come back with a higher offer when the original offer was actually good enough. It's kind of funny. But I think that sometimes you can be more persuasive through silence than you can be through being vocal. So let's take, for example, since we're all working in a virtual world now, or many of us are, let's take a virtual meeting into account. So for many, a virtual meeting can be really uncomfortable when everyone just sits and stares at each other and we're all boxed on a screen and people start turning off their cameras, or even worse, people don't turn on their cameras and all you have are those black boxes and you can't tell whether people are looking or not. And you feel like you're in one of those seances, I always say, right? Um, I would continuously find myself, um, utilizing filler words or things to break the silence as much as possible. So I would ask the team a question, and oftentimes no one would give an answer right away. I broke the awkwardness by attempting to elaborate on a question or provide my opinion first. But sometimes it's better not to. So how do you just remove the awkward silence? Sometimes you don't. Sometimes you embrace it. And after countless amounts of research and trying to figure out how to be a better facilitator, one of the things that I learned through the brand spanking new facilitation class that I'm offering through the Scrum Alliance certification is that silence as a facilitator is critical. It allows your team members or your peers or the person you're speaking to really ponder what answer is best for them to provide. As a facilitator, you're not just practicing the power of silence, but you're practicing the power of patience. You're showing empathy. You're not showing bias. And it's amazing what happens when everyone has the opportunity to just stop and think and ponder before they're being requested to immediately answer. It allows for more opinions to be shared. Brainstorming sessions become way more valuable. Everyone has a chance to absorb information and be thoughtfully considerate about how they're going to reply to certain situations. I have been in countless meetings where you have that one person, we're going to call that person that guy, who always wants to rule the conversation and they never want to let go. They always want to make sure that their voice is heard or their opinion is heard. And oftentimes, unfortunately, this person is well respected throughout the team and throughout the organization. And since that person is well respected, people often take what they say as the rule of law, and then everyone else just kind of falls in line. And I've seen this a lot in organizations, especially where you have people or organizations, I shouldn't say people, but organizations that focus greatly on hierarchy and on how long someone's been around and on what's going on. The thing that I found it really changes where you use silence and how you embrace silence and make things right is when you're in an organization that really has a knack for psychological safety, where they create a safe working environment and they want people to communicate to each other. And even crazy ideas are considered. I can tell you firsthand, and I've been in so many meetings where I've heard people say things. I'm like, I can't believe they just said that. And then 5 minutes later, I'm like, I'm so happy they just said that, right? It's just so neat to see how that switch can happen, how our bias can go away and how we can learn more. And this ties me to those three words again. Silence is critical, but help me understand Help me understand what brought you to this thought process. Help me understand why you feel this way. Help me understand what avenue we should take if the avenue that I'm recommending just isn't the right one. Help me understand how we can realign our attention to what matters the most. Help me understand where we're trying to take this decision. And I think sometimes the best way to help someone understand, or the best way to get the understanding that you need, could be to, take it in the words of Depeche Mode, enjoy the silence. Take that moment to be quiet and ponder. I can't tell you how many times I've been on an executive track in leadership meetings and leadership summits where I've met with executives and I've said, hey, let me chew on that a little while, or let me come back with an answer in 30 minutes. And one of their favorite things they always consistently say when they come back to me is that I like that when it's a definitive answer, you're able to give one quickly. But when it's something that really has a huge impact, you always take the time to thoughtfully consider. And that is true. I don't want people to think that I'm not taking any time to bring their opinion to pass, or that I'm not taking time to adapt based on what I learn. There's so many opportunities for us to do better. And I think that sometimes we are our own worst enemy. So, my challenge for you this week is to find an opportunity to be more silent, to be more aggressively silent, to listen with the intent not just to hear, but to understand what's going on, and to really get into this problem solving mode. And I promise if you do, it's going to make you a better Scrum Master, a better product owner, a better leader, and a better team member, a better husband, a better father, a better wife, a better child. It's going to help you really solve all those internal things that are happening. That's going to do it. Thanks for coming along. Man, this was an awesome episode. If you have a topic you want us to discuss, feel free to reach out to us. Learn more at agiledad.com. We'd love to hear from you. And as always, we encourage you to stay healthy, stay well, and stay agile, my friends. Until next time, do take care.